So, hello, how are you? Another Transform Your Sunday, four coaches, for a different perspective, one single idea to transform your Sunday. And to start, let's begin with Maggie. Maggie, can you introduce yourself, please?
Thank you so much. My name is Maggie Temez, and I am the founder of Running Fox Living Food. I endeavor to help diabetics who are struggling with adapting to new eating styles, lifestyles, to be able to find more time, more confidence, and more control in their choices without feeling like they're trapped in bland or boring diets. And I'm going to kick it over to Jen to introduce herself.
Thank you, Maggie. Hi, I'm Jennifer Vinges, owner of Oxijen. It's a mind and body training company. And I help women over 40 who've been struggling with whether it's eating or exercising, just wanting to get back or get on healthier habits. I help them with simple habit hacks that take less than 5 minutes a day. Juliet.
Hi everyone. So I'm a confidence coach, as you know, and I love helping busy women getting more confident, get rid of the self-doubt, imposter syndrome, and like Jennifer is pretty no more than 5 minutes a day. So you can't say you don't have time to change your life. So let's go to Iris now, right?
Thank you. So again, my name is Santos, and I am the founder of Santos Counseling Coaching, and I am a relationship emotional trauma coach, and I work with adult women that are struggling in toxic relationship cycle and they don't even know why. So today's topic is one of my favorites. Today we're going to be talking about the different levels of toxic relationship or toxicity in your life and the emotional trauma that causes along the way. The different levels of emotional trauma and the different levels of toxic relationship. Anyone has anything to say about this? Um, yes, darling.
Thank you for bringing this topic. And one of the things that I would like to tackle early is really learning to recognize what are some of the things that make relationships toxic. Having been in a couple of relationships um, that were not great relationships, one of the things that is like a trigger warning for me is when someone is only supportive when you agree with what they agree with. Um, like that can be like one of those first signs, but it can also lull you into this false sense of security because they can be overly gracious, overly appreciative when you are in agreement with them. And then as soon as you don't, like they can shut down and like that could be an issue for a lot of people. But
Yeah, this is really good. I, you know, I love this topic because um, we talk about the toxicity in relationship with another. My first relationship was when I was 16 years of age. And it started like everything else, an amazing relationship that I was so excited. So, oh my God, he loves me. And that turned into a toxic relationship that was controlling, that was manipulative, that was emotionally draining and physical. But we don't talk about the level of toxic relationship that we grew up in, because I ended up with my first relationship as turning to be a toxic relationship, but it turned out to be toxic relationship because I had a toxic relationship with myself. I
Hmm.
grew up believing that I was less than. I will grow up believing that I was insignificant. I grew up believing that I needed to earn someone else's validation. So different levels of toxic. We have this idea that toxicity, I mean, the vast majority of us, we label a toxic relationship when the toxic relationship is the obvious sexual abuse, physical abuse, domestic violence, alcohol, drugs, constant argument, constant criticism. But we forget that when we are children, we are controlled and told what to do. We are not allowed to speak our minds. We are labeled in accordance to how we obey. We are constantly make afraid of our own emotions. We lose sense of self, and that's the biggest toxicity that you can ever experience, the one that you have with yourself, which is what it became normal because it's what society said that it was good for you. Just Jennifer, I'm sorry, I just go on, and if you let me.
No, I love I love this topic in so many layers. We started off talking about relationships, but it's really, like you said, the relationship that we have with ourselves is the first form of toxicity, right? That worth, doubting our worth, our significance. The other relationships, it's also the relationships we have outside world, like the employee-employer relationships. I've been in a few toxic relationships where you walk in and you can feel the other person's energy, and that energy spews into everybody's life. And it comes back to ourselves, right? It comes back to giving ourselves that permission to use our voice, to speak our voice, to be proud of who we are. And I think for a lot of people, I know for me, that took a long time to kind of turn down the volume to everybody else, to turn up the volume to my own inner self and my worth. And in doing that, that creates that self-love that we referred to back in 2024. And don't worry, we are bringing it into 2025. That is number one thing. That is the first and foremost of the relationships that you have. I love that. Maggie.
I love what you were talking about, and it reminded me that like there are core things that all of us need, we all share in positive social relationships, whether that is with yourself, with your family, with a partner, whoever that relationship with, bosses, like having that be positive has a huge impact on really how we feel, the way we live in so many different areas. Because if the majority of your relationships are in a form or imbalance where you're kind of in the negative, you're not being valued, you don't feel safe expressing yourself, like the stress that comes from that, it really can affect so many other parts of our lives, and it affects how we respond. So while we may want to have good intentions, think of ourselves as good people, if we are constantly surrounded by these stressful relationships with other people, no matter who they're with, we struggle to show up as a positive, best version of ourselves. Go ahead, Juliet.
So I totally agree with all of you. I think it's amazing. It's a really good topic to. What I want to say, because something also I think we all experience it to a certain level. I would say probably more women than men, but I don't have any kind of any research on it. I just say from what I experienced so far, I would say this is something we have, and this toxic relationship, as like Iris said, is really comes from you first. So it's something you get. To be honest, I love my parents and they did their best, but I know part of my issues come from the way I was raised. And the thing is, we always say, oh, this person is, I'm in a toxic relationship, but I did realize by going through my transformation, bless you, by going through my transformation, is the person is not a toxic person per se, necessarily. It's just like you hate yourself so much that you reflect, like Jennifer said, you reflect something to someone else, and even if it's your partner, and even if he loves you so much, but you reflect so much hatred from yourself that is gonna start to become. I know this is something I went through with an ex of mine. We stayed 12 years together, and it started really well, but we were both really lacking confidence a lot, and we were keep saying negative things about ourselves, and it just went at the end, we were toxic to each other in a way. So I think it's also, we have to be careful of how we feel about ourselves or how we project that in the world. And since I got this transformation, yeah, my relationship in general are much better because you put your boundaries and you keep them.
Yes.
I don't know, Maggie, Iris, Maggie.
Iris was next. Go ahead, Iris.
Okay, Iris.
Thank you so much. Because, I have a short fuse that it just goes away, the information that is here. But what I wanted to touch is on what you said, Juliet, the relationship that you have with yourself will show up in how you interact with others. And it doesn't matter who the other is. It could be an employee, a friend. It could be a chicken. It made no difference. A relationship with another has one job, and one job only. That primary job that a relationship has is to show you who you are, the good, the bad, and the ugly. So when two people meet at first, when it comes to romantic relationship, the best of each one is going to show up, because right there, all the endorphins and the oxytocin and all these hormones that are just shooting up so you can come together, which we think is for one purpose, which is to make us happy. That is an impossible task. No one is here to make you happy. If you show up in a relationship, and eventually, once the first stage, which is the honeymoon stage, wears it out, which is about 3 to 6 months, then the real truth comes out. The other part, the other one was truth, but the other part, the one that we avoid, the one that we don't want to see, because it's the one that we have been running away from all our lives, right? We were conditioned to believe that feeling sad was not good. We were conditioned to believe that we were not enough without someone else. We were conditioned to believe that I'm just a half apple. I need my other half, right? So a relationship has one job: to show you what is your relationship with yourself. If you are happy, if you have a balance in life with yourself, no one can come to you and interrupt that unless that foundation is not strong enough with yourself. Okay, I get too passionate about this.
I love this. I love it.
Not too passionate, just enough passion. You could even go a little bit more passionate, I'm just gonna say. But I love what you guys are talking about, and I really like I have a tendency to think in specifics. So as you're talking, I'm like, isn't that true? And thinking back to different things, our language, how we talk about ourselves, and I recognize that it is something that I have done. I am guilty. I will admit it. It is something I am working on improving. But you have like this reaction where you are not a perfect person. Everyone in the world is not a perfect person, but you almost want to hide that part early on when you're creating relationships with someone else, no matter what that relationship is. And you create this unreasonable, unsustainable level of expectation for what it is. And then you become afraid to be authentic, be imperfect, and show people that other side, because what if they don't accept that part of you because you were afraid to show it early on? And then like you'll hold that in until it becomes explosive. And then not only does it eventually, because eventually it's always going to come out, but it's going to come out in ways that are greater than what they would have been originally if you had been comfortable enough with yourself to be imperfect in the beginning. And I think that can be a really difficult process to go through, that you don't want to show that part off. And then like you compensate for that by talking about and like trying to pre-warn people about how you have these issues. And then you can repeat it so many times that whether or not you are that way all of the time or not, if you're telling people that you are that way, they will believe you.
Yeah.
I saw Jenn and Iris, and I don't know who was first.
It was Jennifer. It was Jennifer.
Well, two things. I do want to touch on what Maggie just said. And this because the mental coaching that we do, but if we do keep telling the story, keep repeating the story, we are calling that characteristic into our life. So if you are aware of what you're saying and it's not in line with who you want to be, that's amazing. That's the first start of change. The other thing I wanted to touch on with Iris, I love your passion in this conversation today. What I love at what you said is a relationship is really a tool. It's a lesson. And I tell this to my clients when they get charged by somebody in their life, meaning they get upset, it's a reflection of something deep inside of us. So the question is, why am I getting charged from this person? What is the lesson that I need? People come into our lives for a reason and a season, and it's always a blessing. And it's really just, I always look at life as this. We come to the world today to have the opportunity to learn. It's our big playground of learning. And so every person brings us an opportunity to learn something deeper about ourselves. And going back to the more we learn about ourselves, the more we can build that trusting, loving relationship with ourselves. We nailed that one relationship, we're going to have beautiful relationships with other people. And I'm grateful for this topic. Thank you, Iris.
My pleasure. But one thing I want to touch on what Maggie shared and what you also expanded on, Jennifer. The problem is that we don't know that we are in a toxic relationship with ourselves. Mm-hmm. This is why we can put on mask and show up in relationship with other, hoping that this other is going to love us the way we wish to be loved. Mm. We are always seeking for that validation, for that acceptance, for that we're always avoiding feeling rejected. We're always avoiding feeling condemned. So we don't know that we're carrying on a toxic relationship with ourselves. And a lot of times we even treat others in ways that shouldn't be accepted by others. But it's the cycle, because the other don't know either how to stand up for themselves, so to speak, because they don't know they have a toxic relationship with. I went through life asking myself the same question over and over. Why do I keep repeating this relationship if I am so good? I didn't question it at first. I just went through life following the script, the obedient, good, and you know the story already. You couldn't find a better human in terms of having the best intention. So I thought I was having the best intention, and it looked that way outside. But what I was looking for was for validation, to be seen, to be heard, to be noticed. I didn't know I was doing that until I came to the awareness. of what relationship I was having with myself. It was something deeper that no one could give to me until I stopped and did an assessment of myself and all the patterns in my life that led me to the same outcome. Different faces, different places, but the same damn outcome. And when I couldn't continue any longer, that's when that I hit, like what they say, rock bottom. That's when I realized what was going on. And I'm not completely out there, but I can see it. Like before, I couldn't see it. Even when I am in a toxic relationship now, I know that I'm in a toxic relationship now, but I did not know before that I was in one when I was in one. So, okay, Maggie, I'm telling you, you let me speak.
Well, but what you were saying was really good, and I wanted to let you finish that. And mine's not necessarily so much as a comment as a question and my perspective. So the question is, do you feel like you are a better friend when you call people out or bring attention to negative behaviors, or do you feel like a bad friend? And I think
Oh,
this is one of those things that we get into and we're like, we can recognize it and see it in other people, and sometimes we'll hesitate. I know for a long time I would hesitate. I've changed that now. Um, to say something, to bring attention to it. And I want everybody's perspective, but I just want to say that, like, I do feel like having been on both sides, not saying things and saying things, since I have started saying things, again, respectfully and with love, that it has been a better relationship with that other person because they get the opportunity to be better. And I know some of you, like I see Jenn, and she is far more experienced, and I just want to acknowledge the fact that honestly, this became something that was much more comfortable for me after I started including all of the people that are on the screen with me into my life. They have really helped me see that. And I wanted to throw that out there before I turned it over. Okay, Jen, go.
that is so beautiful. That is such a great question because I know early on I would hold back on information. But like you said, if we see something, we can see what others can't, just like you guys can see what I can't sometimes for myself. And so if we can see something and we have that relationship and we do it with love and care and really just looking out for the person, I really think that it's a win-win. There are times that even though I've done it with love and kindness and I love these people so much, there have been times where it wasn't receptive, and that's okay too. But at the end of the day, I don't want to have regrets in my life. And so if I can help somebody, I want to help somebody. If they don't want my help, that's okay too. So I love that question. I think I saw Juliet. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, it was really good topic, and I would say my reflection would be all of this is, I mean, I think you have better relationship because, like Eri said, you have a better relationship with yourself. So the question is not, are you a better? I think it's not more like are you a better friend? It's just by being a better person yourself. One, your environment change and your actual friends gonna probably not all of them maybe, but some of them might change, and you won't have the same relationship because I mean I know for me when I was really low confidence, 95% of my friends, maybe 90, okay, 90% of my friends were really toxic. Like in a way, they became toxic friends because I let them. I didn't have boundaries, and I was, like you said, I wouldn't say anything because I was like, oh, I don't want to lose them because I need my friends, and I'm not good enough to have good friends, so I need to keep them. So when you are in a place where you feel better with yourself and the same is your boundaries. Like if something doesn't suit you, you just say, "Oh, I'm sorry, can we talk about it?" And we just talk about it. I do remember a few weeks ago, I did it with my partner. I would have never said that before. And I was like, oh, I don't like it. Can we don't do that again? And we talk about it. And we were like, yeah, he didn't like it either. And we were like, okay, good. Good. And I was like, oh my God, this is so, I don't know how to say, like, it used to be something that I would build up in my mind, like, oh my God, he's going to do this and that and that. And I would put myself in his place where I actually don't know. I would do, but by being a better player, it's so much more natural and it's so much easier because you know you know yourself, you know your worth, and after, if the person doesn't like it, she's not your person, in a way.
Yeah, so true, so true.
Iris.
Thank you. I forget that. I'm waiting for that. You go. And this is really beautiful. I love the way my mind goes. I am jiggling about something and then I go to a very serious post. This is beautiful because Maggie, the question that you ask, I think it's a little bit deeper. I think it's a little bit deeper than just when because what happens when you start recognizing your relationship with yourself and you start building that relationship with yourself and becoming one and ending with a different personality that we were conditioned because we carry on different personality. We don't show up the same way we show up in church or at the beach or with a friend outside with our own family. We have different personality according of the settings, right? So when you're building a relationship with yourself, you learn to value peace and unconditional love above everything else. So if what you are going to share with whoever, you will find yourself asking yourself question, is this going to be helpful? Is it going to be is it going to help grow? Is it going to help the person grow? It's three question. It's three question that you pass this to a filter before you go and speak with someone else because you have to check with yourself first. How is it making you feel? Now, if you talk about your feelings, you have a feelings about something, and it doesn't matter if this feeling involve a chicken. Why did I say chicken twice? What's going on with the chicken? It doesn't matter who involves. If you have something that you know is kind of like taking your peace away, making you feel uncomfortable, when you have a healthy relationship with you will release that, whether it's through a mirror work process or journaling or writing a letter or screaming it out to the tech or talking to a person, to the person in place or someone else, right? You will learn to filter your decision and you will always follow love above everything and anything when you start building a healthy relationship with yourself. And this is the thing. In order to do that, we need to become aware. What is the relationship that we have with ourselves? Am I behaving this way because I am afraid of rejection? Am I doing this because I'm seeking something? It's not something that we can kind of like open up in one meeting. It needs deeper. It needs deeper, but this is really good. This is really good. Go ahead, darling.
So I just wanted to throw on there because you were talking about the three filters, and I could remember two. I had to go look up the third, but the three filters that people talk about is it necessary? Is it true? And is it helpful? And
Yes.
if you will think about those three things, is it necessary? Is it true? And is it helpful before you share? Then you will go in the right direction. And if it is true, it is going to be helpful for people to know about traits or the way that they are talking about themselves. And for that last one, is it necessary? For a lot of people, having someone else bring that attention to them, it is necessary. Like they will not get that lesson until someone else helps them to be able to identify it. I just wanted to share that.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. This is a like you see, this is a big topic and it has many different levels of layers. This is why there's many different levels of toxic relationship. But one thing is for certain, it begins with us. It begins with each of us, ourselves, asking the question, what is my relationship with myself? Because I can assure you, when you have a healthy relationship with yourself, you will never, ever allow anyone into your energy field to come and suck your energy away. It won't happen. It's not possible. You can only attract who you are. It's the law, it's the law of the universe, gravity, whatever you want to call it, make no difference. And you'll know it because of the way your relationship is unfolding in your life, whether it's through money, whether it's job, whether it's friendship, whether it's in your partnership with another that you sleep with or don't sleep with. Anyway, this is a topic that's going to be covered more on our summit on March, the end of March, the last week of March. I just thought that I should
28th,
mention it.
29th, and 30th.
There you have it. And we are going to be sharing more information coming up. And I hope to see you. We all hope to see you there because we're going to go deeper and you're going to have the opportunity to also be on the VIP where you're going to have direct contact with the coaches and answer your questions. Cannot wait. So
VIPs also get access to the community of other like-minded people. So if you are trying to build non-toxic relationships, this could be a good place. Just saying.
Just saying.
The best place. Best place. So again, these are 4 coaches, different ideas, different approach, but one single view, one single focus, which is to transform your someday. See you soon.
Bye, everybody.